Welcome back, everybody, to Spurs 9501 podcast. Welcome to all our listeners, all our viewers on YouTube. I've got Cam, Jam and Steve with me, and we're doing the post-match analysis after the 5-4 defeat to Everton in the FA Cup. So even though the year ends in a 1, we're not going to be winning the FA Cup this year, so let's kill that one. Let me quickly give you the teams. So it's Lloris in goal, Doherty, Alderweireld, Sanchez, Davies, Højbjerg, Ndombele, Lamela, Bergwijn, Lucas and Son. Cam, over to you in sunny Florida again. Do you want to give us some match stats?
Yeah, I do. And the first match stat I want to say is that Mourinho seems to keep breaking records. So the new record he just broke today was in 7 previous games we played at Everton, we hadn't lost any of them. We'd, I think, drawn 4 and won 3. So our record at Goodison Park was pretty damn good over the last few years. So thanks for that, Mourinho. So that streak's over. Overall, we still have a better record against Everton than they have against us, but that's changing rapidly. We've beaten them 68 times. They've beaten us 57 times, and we've 56 draws out of 181 games. But today, interesting match stats. 57% possession for Tottenham. We had 29 shots. They had 17. We had 12 shots on target. They had 10. We had 15 corners as opposed to their 2. And they committed 18 fouls. Last week committed 13. Obviously, we're going to talk about the results, but that's, I think, some interesting stats there in terms of how many shots we've had. 29 shots with 12 on target. So I think that's something to talk about.
Okay, excellent. Thanks very much for those great stats, Cam. First, let's come to Jam first. Jam, tell us your thoughts about the formation and the lineup.
So I thought it was an interesting to not start with Kane. I mean, I kind of saw it coming, but I also at the same time didn't, because it's the FA Cup and we should really be putting our best team forward. But happily for the first 20, 30 minutes of the match, we were dominating. I thought we were playing very well, good attacking football. I think Lamela and Lucas, who were the two who you would question who actually did start, were probably some of our best players in the first few periods of the match. As far as formation wise, I think it was nice not to see a back 5. That's always good to see. Ndombele is growing as a central midfielder, but he starts to fade towards the end of matches. I think it's a lot more running down there. But up front, I think was the major changes. Not seeing Kane there.
Yeah. Okay. So you think it was a good idea to have Kane in reserve on the bench? Yeah.
Well, I would have personally probably started him, because you put your best foot forward when he's available. Why not play him? But at the same time, once he did come on, he did not. He had some more opportunities where he could have done better.
Yeah.
So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Steve, so talk us through. I mean, we made a really good start. Took the lead through a Sanchez corner. Could have scored well before then. Could have got a second with Lucas as well. I mean, talk us through your thoughts when you saw the first goal go in from your favourite player, Davinson Sanchez. How did you feel?
Well, surprised. Was my first reaction. Well, I mean, strangely enough, we got a lot of corners today, and most of them managed to clear the first man, which normally they don't. And that was why we scored, because we've got some decent corners in there. I think that the first 20 minutes, I think we were all over them, and we dominated. What we didn't do is score, or score more than one. Moura should have scored within the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he should have scored.
So before they got their equalising goal, we could have been 2 or 3-0 up, and I think that was the crucial part of this game. After that, we were always chasing it. They got 2 goals in quick succession, which I thought was, they were lucky really. 3 goals in quick succession. Kamal is telling me. I sort of almost discount the penalty. But ridiculous. I mean, Richarlison is a good player. If you give him room, he'll get the ball on target. I don't know, but we'll probably come on to it later. But I think that 2 of the goals were partly Lloris could have done better.
Yeah.
If it was the player shot from very close range and he stayed on his line. If he'd have taken a step forward, it changes all the angles when you have a player that close. And I thought he might have done something with 2 of those goals where they were sort of shot across him. The striker did well. You've got to get it on target and you've got to hit it hard and hit it across. But I thought he could have done better. Having said that, before you bring other people in, Ray, what I will say is I'm still happier that this was 5-4 rather than a dire 1-0. We did give it a go, and it was exciting, and it was a good game. And it could have gone either way. It really could have. But there was a great block from their player, I think, in extra time on Harry Kane. Could have gone either way. It was an entertaining game. It's just a shame the result ended up as it was. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, do you think Everton wanted it a bit more than we did, or was the desire there from Spurs as well?
I think there was more desire than I've seen for a while. I'm still worried that we don't move the ball quickly enough, and we are not direct enough. Holberg was still coming and collecting the ball and taking other players' space. He was taking other players' space. And I imagine we're going to come on to the disaster that is Winks.
We'll save the best till later.
I don't know what you can do with him, really. It's a shame.
I think there's some certain phases to the match. So as you said, the first phase of the match, we were all over them. We scored. Yeah. Then there's another phase in the middle where they scored 3 goals in quick succession. Then there's another phase where we came back to 3-3, another phase and another phase and phase, etc. Yeah. So the game was played in phases. So Cam, building on from that, what happened? How did we let in 3 goals in such a short period of time? Talk me through your thoughts about that specific period.
I mean, it was just a horror show, wasn't it? I mean, you always say, Ray, that you can always trace a goal back to a mistake. Well, you didn't have to trace very far with any of those, did you? Really?
No, exactly. Yeah,
very far at all. I mean, what can I say? I mean, I'm just horrified by the first goal because we were passing it out from the back, totally ridiculously. There was Toby had the ball. He passes it to Davis. Davis passes it to Højbjerg. Højbjerg passes it to Everton, just outside our box. 2 players pounce on it. Calvert-Lewin hits it, and Lloris palms it into the goal. I mean, I can't say that he tried to save it. He palms it into the goal.
You think he should have saved that, Cam?
You're supposed to be a world-class goalkeeper. The shot straight at you. How many shots were straight at the Everton goalkeeper that we hit, right? All of them went over. He's palmed them wherever he needed to. Remember that Son shot that he went straight at him with that power? Did he palm it into the goal? No. Lloris palmed it into the goal. There was no other way to look at it. So we had 4 of our defensive players, 4 of them, all of them had a horror show.
So 2 mistakes in that goal then. First, Højbjerg losing it, and then Lloris palming it away. Is that right?
I would go even further than that and say, why did
we should have cleared it down the line, couldn't he?
He had 3 players around him, right? Alderweireld, Toby had, and he could have just booted it anywhere. And that
it's a hospital ball, really, wasn't it?
That was all the balls were terrible. I mean, so that was just, as soon as he passed it to Davis, you could just see the goal coming because we just knew that we're not good enough. Unfortunately, we're not good enough to hold the ball. And we've known that all along because, let's face it, when we've been defending like headless chickens, as we have been doing in many of the games before, we've always handed the ball back to the opposition and we've just come at us. And inevitably, we've let in goals. And this one was a horror show. Okay. I mean, the penalty...
hold on a second. Let me come to... I want to bring Jam in because he hasn't said much. And then I'll come back to you for the penalty. Jam, what about the second goal for Richarlison?
I just want to echo 2 things real quickly there. Steve, I think you're absolutely right with the 5-4 is much better. It's much better football from everybody.
The result is the same, 1-0 or 5-4. It doesn't matter.
It's the same, but the amount, like I've said before, I don't mind losing, but as long as we're fighting, it's better. But I'm gonna say it's not enough. It's not enough at the end of the day. When it's self-inflicting goals has been like you might as well call 2020-2021 season the season of self-inflicting goals because it's been stupid. It's just been so.
So the first goal we said Lloris made a mistake, Højbjerg made a mistake, so a couple of mistakes. Talk about the second goal.
There's a it's easy to say when I first started, I was like, Toby, why wasn't he closing Richarlison down? Which he absolutely should have been. But it all stems from Sanchez jumping up to try and header the ball away. And did you see that? Did you see the header? He can header the ball well to score a goal, but you can't just header a ball to clear it. It's a simple header. He headers it like he hasn't got a neck, and it goes flopping off, goes right into the opposition player's hands. And Richarlison's a very good footballer. If he's going to have space to take 2 touches and take a shot, it's usually going to be on target.
Yeah.
I think Toby could have done a little better, but I'm not going to blame him for that goal. I
don't think Lloris had a chance with that one. It was too far.
Lloris did not have a chance. It was a very good shot.
Steve, talk us through the 3rd goal then. You mentioned about the penalty. Was it a penalty or not? I mean, whether he meant it or not is irrelevant, I think. Intent doesn't come into it. I think if you stop somebody scoring or if you trip somebody up.
Yeah, I think it was a penalty, in this day and age. It just goes
back to your point because Alderweireld was covering the run by Calvert-Lewin. What the hell is Højbjerg doing running back there as well?
It's just that's what happens with Højbjerg is he gets deeper and deeper and deeper. He gets closer and closer to the centre halves. He wants the ball in stupid positions when his back is facing the play. He can't see what's going on. And he's clearly a dominant character, so people give him the ball, even though they should be giving it to somebody else's. Yeah, Not that was in this case, but I think it's part and parcel of his persona, of the way he plays the game. It's a penalty. What do you do? I'm not sure what stage of the game was, but I think also Sanchez pushed someone in the back as well, so we were probably okay
with that one. Yeah,
we got away with that one as well. Again, in that position, there was no need, as if there's ever a need. There is no need to do it. It's crazy stuff. Yeah. And it gets back to the whole philosophy about football, really, doesn't it? Is that 90% of it's played in your head. It's not played with your feet. It's your positional sense. It's your understanding of what to do in particular situations, making the right choices, playing on your front foot rather than on the back foot. Yeah. I don't think we can say it wasn't a penalty. It was a penalty, and there you go.
You hopefully put it away.
The only other thing is if you keep them out of your penalty area in the first place and don't concede possession, which we did start to do after our first 20 minutes, then you put yourself under pressure.
Yeah. Cam, let's talk through now. So we got a goal just before half-time through Lamela, who I thought had one of his best games ever for Tottenham in a Tottenham shirt. I really thought he played really well. He made some good tackles, played some good balls up front, scored a goal. Tell us about the goal and tell us what you thought of Lamela's performance, Cam.
I thought Lamela's performance was so good that it was inevitable he was going to be taken off. I mean, we were going to talk about that later.
He was tired. Yeah.
He was tired. But we needed some bite, and he gave us that. I think the difference between Lamela's performance and Ndombele, Bergwijn, and Mora's performance, pulling those 4 or 5, I thought Son was making some very good runs too, so I'm not going to include him with those 3, was that he actually had the bite, he had the touch, and he was fast, quick, and he was moving the ball forward. I can't say that about the other 3. I thought Mora was running around a lot of headless chicken stuff from Mora, but his finishing and his passing left a lot to be desired. Not impressed with Ndombele or Bergwijn. I'm sorry to say it, but those 2 together in a number of the last games that we've lost have not been inspiring at all. And I just don't get why you guys think that's the bee's knees. The shit. Excuse my.
I'm not supposed to use bad language on this podcast, please.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
I'm going to have to edit that out now.
They're poo-poo.
Gonna bleep him,
I'm gonna have to get the bleepers on you there. But anyway, what about the goal before Lamela? Just hold on.
About Lamela, the fact that he actually showed what you need from people who are going to have a bit of bite, and a bit of desire, and a bit of the spirit to want to take the game to the players. Everybody else on the pitch at that time had gone down, and we were looking at. It could have been 4. Remember, they had another really.
Yeah.
They should have scored. It could have been 4-1.
That was Sanchez's mistake again, wasn't it?
Absolutely. And the fact is, Lamela was the only one who was actually still running and still playing like he was. It was a great ball to him. I think it was a 1-2 with them.
It was 1-2. He got a little lucky.
Absolutely lucky, but he was there. Great finish. But the question I want to ask you is, in all the games that we've had, and Ndombele, I think in the last 4 or 5 games has been nowhere, has given very little to the team. And if he's doing the same role as Højbjerg, only thing that's happening is that Steve said is Højbjerg is going deeper and deeper and deeper and getting these 2 feet passes, which mean absolutely nothing from the back four. You wonder what the point of that is. Anyone can show me the last 6 games, one killer ball that Ndombele's pass that might not have been a goal or has led to a clear-cut chance. I haven't seen it unless I'm blind. And the chances that Bergwijn had, I mean, I remember when Son had a really good turn, Bergwijn was free, he looked at him and he took the shot on, right? And then Bergwijn threw his hands up in horror. Well, Bergwijn, we've been throwing our hands up in horror for the last year. You can throw your hands up as much as you like, but everybody knows you would not have scored.
Son didn't score either, but anyway, let's. We don't want to get hooked up on this now. Yeah. So we go in at 3-2 down, and then I'm going to come to you in a minute, Jam. Don't worry. Steve, I can't resist saying this. Steve's favourite player gets another goal from a corner, 2 goals in one game, Davinson Sanchez, and we're back in it, Steve. How did we do that?
Extraordinary. Well, this is because we are clearing the first man on the corners and we're getting the ball in there. And Sanchez, for all his faults, manages to react quickly and sort of shin the ball into the goal. But they all count.
Yeah.
I think we shouldn't be distracted by Sanchez's 2 goals in terms of his defensive play and his defensive performance. I think that's the first time he's scored in at least 2.5 years. This isn't something that happens on a regular basis. This was a bit of a fluke, this situation.
Fluke or not, he scored 2 goals. Without those goals, we would have lost anyway.
That's great. That's great that he did. But it was about the delivery. And if he hadn't been playing and somebody else had, we may have got something as well. Okay. So I would say this is the turning point for Sanchez. He's going to turn into this sort of John Terry type player who's going to get
if only, I mean.
He's not, is he?
Let me talk about Sanchez now, Steve. Hold on. I want to have my say, but I will bring you back in. Don't worry. But Sanchez was great. Scored 2 goals. Again, defensive frailties. We know all about them. Misplaced headers, lack of concentration. I mean, when you've got Sanchez and Lloris both having stinkers, it's very difficult. I didn't think Doherty was that bad. I know Kamal hates him, but he wasn't that bad.
Actually.
And then Davis is Davis. I'm not even going to say anything about him. But I want to come back now to Jam. So we're 3-3. We're doing well. We look like we're the only team going to win it. And then Richarlison goes and scores a 4th. What's going on there, Jam? Why did that happen?
Oh, well, I mean, everyone seemed to be, all our players at least seemed to be upset about something, and I'm not really sure what they were.
I think there was a foul on Lucas Moura leading up.
Either way, you're professionals and you can't get caught up in such. There was no foul. There's nothing there. It was ridiculous. The fact that they were still complaining about it just really shows the mentality of the team. It's like they're trying to grasp at straws over here, and that's really what frustrates me the most about this team right now, is that they have no real identity about themselves.
Did Lloris have a chance with the 4th goal or not?
Lloris, I think it was a good goal from Richarlison, if I remember correctly, right? I don't think Lloris had
very close to Lloris, wasn't it?
It was still a really good shot. Was it?
He could have done more.
Well, that was the winner. I was thinking.
We'll come to you in a minute, Steve and Cam, on that.
Don't remember the goal too well, to be perfectly honest. There was a lot of them in this match.
Okay, so it's 4-3.
I do remember everyone scrambling about, being like, what's going on? What's going on? Everyone blaming each other. I think that's a big issue, though.
Cam, do you think Lloris could have done more for the 4th goal or not?
What I want to say about the 4th goal is this: that is again Ndombele. He's holding the ball. He's got 3 players around him. He tries to go. He chucks. He dives. He does all sorts of things like that. But what he doesn't do is clear the ball.
Exactly. He doesn't release the ball, does he?
He has a chance, right on where we are, put the team in danger, falls over, tries to get a free kick. It doesn't come off. All the players are then attracted to that, because the thing that hit me about that 4th goal, Jem, which I know you don't remember, is the time and the space that Richarlison had. When he stayed onside, and when he went ahead, on as far as I can see, facing the goal on the left side, right, he took another couple of touches. Nobody was near him. Nobody closed him down, right? And he went across Lloris. Lloris could have done a hell of a lot better than that. I'm sorry to have to say it. Being beaten at your far post from that angle, it's got to be something absolutely amazing. And it was a good shot, but it wasn't. I would put it down to another goalkeeping lapse. But where were the players? Where was anyone throwing themselves at him? Where was anyone closing him down? He had so much time and space. because they were all obsessed with this.
I do remember now.
Going on earlier, which is just so ridiculous. It just, it beggars belief.
Yeah, Sanchez, I feel like, was not in position for that goal, which another one could come down to him. It was a good, tricky finish from Richarlison, but absolutely, Lloris should have been doing better. From his angle, his position is not good.
But Ndombele doesn't know how to clear the ball. All he knows
No, he doesn't. He always tries to jinx out, play a killer pass from wherever he is. He doesn't know. I think Cam's right. He doesn't know how to clear the ball. He always jinx out. But anyway, then we become 4-3 down. And then Steve, cross from the left from Son, and our mate, Ari, scores to make it 4-4. Good goal, good cross by Son.
It was a very, very good goal, and it was a beautiful cross from Son. His quick feet made the space, and he put the perfect cross in. And I think once Harry had got into that position, he couldn't miss it, really. So, but Son, that was made by Son. Son put it on a plate for him. But Harry's still got to wrestle through two players to get to the position where he can hit it. I don't think Vinicius would have got anywhere near that if he'd been playing in that position.
No.
It was a great goal. And I thought, we're going to kick on from here. It's 4-4. The momentum is with us, and hopefully we'll go on and win it.
So why didn't we go on and win it then, Steve?
I think we became nervous, hesitant, too afraid to make the killer pass or attempt the killer pass, and then we were just winding down the clock and wanted to get through and see what happened at extra time. I understand that, because if you make a mistake with 3 minutes or 6 minutes to go, the chances of you coming back are extremely limited. So, okay, you get through to extra time and you take it from there.
I think it shows a lot of...
Vinicius and Sissoko were about to come on, weren't they? Until
they got
that goal, and then he reappraised the situation.
But on the positive side, Steve, it shows a lot of fight and character to come back from 3-1 down, away from home, in a cup tie, to come back to 3-3, and then to go 4-3 down and then come back to 4-4. I think that shows a lot of heart, a lot of character, and I think the team should be praised for that. They did really well to come back. Yes, they had problems at the back. We know those problems are there. They're not going to be fixed overnight. And, it's not often that you have... Steve, it's not often that you have... Yeah, I mean, hold on a second. I think... Listen, I'm not saying it was a great performance, but to come back from 3-1 down to 3-3 and then go 4-3 down and come back to 4-4, I just thought they had a bit of... I mean, Everton weren't that great either, but they showed a bit of fight, I think.
Well, Ray, the question is, though, right?
Hold on, I haven't finished yet. The problem is when you've got your goalkeeper and one of your centre-backs having stinkers, then you really can't survive that type of thing. Go ahead, Cam.
Well, my position is the only way you can lose a game is having scored 4 goals is if you concede 5. I mean, and it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but I mean, how Tottenham conceding 5 under the Mourinho style of no football? I mean, we're going from one extreme to the other here, right?
It just shows he's lost his magic.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's going on, because let's go back to the game against Brighton or game against the first half against Chelsea, which wasn't that long ago, right? We were playing zombie football. 10 players behind the ball, wouldn't defend, were just defending, couldn't do anything else. And now, apparently, we can attack, we can dominate a bit in midfield, which means then we can't defend. So we can't play a full, proper game. Either we can defend a little bit, still concede a goal, but not be able to attack.
Why didn't we go 10 at the back when we were 1-0 up then, Cam?
Why didn't we what?
Why didn't we do the low block, 2 banks of 4, when we went 1-0 up like we did against other teams?
We can't play that. We don't have the players to play that.
We can't.
We tried it, but with those defenders and with what we did, it was clearly wasn't going to work. The point that I'm trying to make is conceding 5 goals. I mean, any team conceding 5 goals probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great. Okay, listen, let's move on now. I think this is all getting very, Cam's going to start having fire coming out of his ears in a minute, so I don't want to burn the podcast. But listen, I want to talk about something. Hold on. I want to talk about Dele Alli. He came on. How long did he get, Steve? Roughly, how long did Dele Alli get? 30 minutes?
He had about 15,
he came
20
on
minutes.
the 74th minute.
Oh, he had... Well, Yeah.
So he had 45 minutes, 15 minutes.
Had the whole of extra time.
Whole of extra time, 50 minutes. So, Jam, I'm going to come to you. How did Dele Alli do? I'll come to you, Steve. Jam, how did Dele Alli do?
He didn't do enough, and I don't know if that's whether he didn't get the ball enough, or the players around him were all so tired that they weren't doing enough. But every time he did get the ball, I don't remember him doing anything particularly special apart from maybe a side pass.
The only thing of note that he did was he got booked for diving.
Yeah, he got booked for diving, which was actually probably a good booking at the end of the day. Unfortunately, there's nothing to talk about with Dele Alli. The fact, other than the fact that he came on and was there, but. So unfortunately, but having said that, can I just say, let's give Dele Alli a break. We were giving Lamela stick 2 or 3 matches ago for not having a good performance after being injured for so long and not playing for so long. Let's give him a break. Let's give him.
He's not been injured for so long. He's just not been in the team.
Let's get back into rhythm. He's been injured for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So what we're told. Let's get him back into the rhythm of playing football again. I would love to have Dele Alli back as an option.
Cam, how did Dele Alli do?
I would have put Dele in instead of Ndombele. I'm sorry, he's not adding any value at all. He seems to be a player right now.
Have you seen Dele Alli play as a centre midfielder? It's the worst thing that's ever happened. It's terrible. You cannot play that. I'm sorry.
Dele Alli's best position is behind the striker, Cam.
It is. He's a second striker.
Take Ndombele out. Put Sissoko with Højbjerg,
maybe,
and have Dele in front of them. But I don't think there's room in this team in the way that we play.
But when Dele came on, Cam, I want you to talk about how did he do when he came on, Dele Alli?
I think Dele did one interesting thing, which was a very good defensive header from a cross that came in.
Offensively?
Offensively, I will say to you, can I be very honest here? And I would say if the Everton penalty was a penalty, then Dele's was definitely a penalty. I don't think he should have been booked. He was definitely chopped in the box. And I think that the refereeing in this game has been outrageous.
The refereeing was poor.
I thought that the VAR was outrageous. If VAR was reviewing that, what happened, what Højbjerg did, which was an innocent collision.
Doesn't matter. Intent doesn't come into it. I told you that.
Why then the collision with Dele was not exactly treated in the same way?
It didn't look like a penalty to me. But anyway, you're veering from the question, which was how did he do in the match?
I think that somebody coming on after a very long time, he didn't do that as badly as some of the other players that were there. I.e., Bergwijn and Ndombele. I thought he did okay, to be honest. I thought he puffed, but he didn't blow down any houses. But at least he did huff and puff.
Okay, Steve, how did you think Dele Alli did?
I still think he didn't move the ball quickly enough.
He never does.
Yeah. I think in terms of the penalty decision or whatever, it might have been a penalty if you were Man United or Liverpool. It's not going to be a penalty for Spurs. That's just the way it is. And it probably wouldn't be for Everton either. He did do one good thing that I recall, is that he did a back heel on the right to allow Sissoko to, I think, run through for a good cross. Actually, I can't remember whether it was a good cross. But it was certainly a cross opportunity. And that's something he does which no one else would do. I mean, Moura tried it in the first half and with flicks, but it didn't really work. But I would say he hasn't done enough to get back fully into the frame. His work rate isn't there.
Would he have done more than Bale?
Hold on a second. We'll come to that in a minute. So we'll come back to Cam's favourite subject later, the elephant in the room. I want to talk now about Steve's. Steve's got some really favourite players. So he loves Davinson Sanchez. And he loves it. But there's nobody better than the next player I'm going to mention that he loves, which is the pirouetting Harry Winks.
Oh, God.
I'm going to come to Cam first today to give me... I'm not going to say anything. Tell me how you think Harry Winks did, Cam.
I think Harry Winks had a nightmare of a game, but I don't think that he needs to be pilloried as much as you guys want to. I think he's had some good games. Today, for some reason or another, he was awful. It was so bad that... I would like to. I want to ask a question about rather than. I want to take this away from Winks. I think we're going to treat.
No. I asked the question today. How did Harry Winks play? Come on, you're not going to start hosting this podcast now.
What was the role of Winks when we're 4-4 trying to go forward to win a game? You put on a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, bring on your 16-year-old.
Because Højbjerg was getting tired.
You take off Lamela. Take Højbjerg off then. But you take off an attacking player and you put that on. I mean, if you
can't take Højbjerg off. He never comes off.
He needs to break sometimes.
I mean, we could attack Winks, and rightly so. And I know Steve's. I can see the fire coming out.
You've gone red, mate. You've gone red.
before we attack Winks, we have to ask what the hell's he doing on the pitch in the first place when we're 4.
No, that's the wrong question because he's actually on the pitch regardless. That decision's been made. We have no input into that. How did he do once? Okay, Cam, you don't want to say anything about Winks. I'm going to go to Steve. Steve, how do you think Harry Winks? How did Harry Winks do, Steve?
How good it was.
I want to love Winks. He's the one of our own, all the rest
One
of
of our own, isn't he?
However, I can't do that. He looked, a man at sea. He was utterly out of his depth. And this has been building, hasn't it? His first touch is appalling. He was responsible for the 5th goal. He lost it in midfield.
Yeah.
He couldn't cushion the ball. He played on his back, on his heels rather than on his toes. When the ball came to him, he was all crikey, I've got a ball. What am I going to do next? He didn't even do the pirouetting and keep possession that he normally does or has done in the past. And as for that final inverted commas shot, what was that? It's the last minute of the game. If you get a chance, you get a half chance. You've got to turn it into a proper chance.
Yeah.
So a possible chance has to be turned into a definite chance.
Just smash it into the box, like try and get a rebound or something.
Smash it into a player or something.
He hasn't got the skill or the ability to do that. It's just the way it is. And before I finish on that, what I would have done, I would have gone to a back 3. I don't care who the back 3 was, but it wouldn't have been Sanchez. I would have put Sanchez up front as a target man. And we whacked that ball up to him like we did with Llorente and actually what we used to do in the past with Michael Dawson when we were losing.
You might as well go 8-4 than 5-4. It's a cup game.
Jam, you're not going to miss out on the fun here, Jam.
Oh, no, absolutely.
What's your view about Harry Winks, one of our own?
So I like to think of Winks as there's a lot of passengers in football. You'll hear that term a lot, but he's more of a pedestrian. He's not even a passenger. He's just living his life on the field. He's there to maybe let the ball pass through him, as opposed to make something happen throughout on the pitch. And I'm really sorry, Winks, because like Steve said, I really want to love him. I really want one of our own to succeed. But he can probably succeed at a West Brom or Championship club. Unfortunately for him,
not a Premier League. He's not a Premier League.
You're not thinking he's going to make it on
It's like I completely disagree.
No, don't talk over each other, guys.
Because I'm sorry, Winks is just he's like if you can imagine Scott Parker and what he was like at 16 years old, he was probably as good as Winks is right now.
Scott
Parker had a lot of the same. Yeah, exactly. Comparing him, he plays in a similar style that Scott Parker did.
Yeah,
but Scott Parker definitely brought something to a team.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not even
brought something to a team, and also attackingly brought something to the team. Whereas Winks just kind of he's a connection between the ball. He might as well not be there so that the ball can be passed to the next player who's going to he's going to.
Okay, Jam, that's good. Okay, listen, I'm not even going to bother talking about Winks. He's so not worth even talking about.
Yeah,
but I want to
make it his passion.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to Cam now before we close the podcast. I want to get Cam's views on Bale. He's not even in the squad on the substitute bench. The elephant in the room, as you called him. What's going on there, Cam?
I think he was injured. I think he had a little niggle. But this would have been an ideal game for Bale.
Exactly. If you bring Bale on with 10 minutes to go, exactly.
He had a niggle. There was an excuse. Poor Bale had to cry out on this one.
I mean, we had that free kick towards the end, Cam, where Harry Kane has never scored from a free kick. That would have been ideal for Bale.
That would have been ideal.
Let's just what I'd like to know from all of you before we finish on Bale or whatever it is, right? I want to ask a simple question. Why, apart from when Ericsson was with us, but since for the last few years, we've never really, since he's gone, there's nobody who can really consistently score from free kicks. We see a team who has no ability to score from dead ball situations. I mean, look at Ward-Prowse. I mean, what's his ratio? Does Ronaldo?
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
That's a very good point. We don't have anybody who can score from free kicks
in England for God knows how many years, right? But Spurs have not really ever been able to produce or find players who can deliver from a dead ball situation. And to be perfectly honest with you, how do you expect to win anything or do anything in the Premiership in this day and age if you can't ever score from a dead ball situation? I mean, all right, we had one goal, I think, from Dyer, was it? And that was about it?
Dyer's our free kick specialist and he was on the bench.
Yeah. He would be taking the free kicks, I think, if he was on the field.
And even then, you wouldn't have so much more confidence. You wouldn't have much more confidence than when you have when Kane's taking a free kick. Because when he stepped up, I was like, well, he's not going to score. So what's the point? If Eriksen was coming up there, you would feel like, oh, yeah, they might have something. Chelsea a few seasons ago would have Hazard step up, be like, okay, man, this is a real opportunity here. Harry Kane steps up in a very good position.
For us, it's more an opportunity for them on the break from our free kick.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, guys, this is a really good discussion, and I hope our listeners and our viewers find it of interest. I'm going to wrap up now, some takeaways and some thoughts, and I want a prediction for Man City. I'm going to start with Jam. Give us your main takeaways from today and give us a prediction for Man City, please.
The main takeaway from today is that it was an absolutely better performance than we have had in the last month or so. Even though we lost, there was fight. But the same old issues come back to haunt us, which is defense, and our defense is just as shambolic. Even though Toby is our best defender, he is a couple of years off the pace, unfortunately for him, and no one else has stepped up to really replace him. Okay,
and the prediction for Saturday against Man City?
Man City? We're going to lose. We're going to lose big time.
What's the score?
This being Jose, he might just nick it. But I see us losing 2-0.
Okay, thanks for that. Cam, so your takeaways from today's match and your prediction for Man City?
Takeaway from today's match, very simple, right? We push hard. We know what's wrong with the team, and it's like a lot of a leaky bucket where we just go in there and we plug one bit. So we put Lamella up, we fight, we move forward, and then another little hole opens up in the guise of the goalkeeper. We just cannot seem to plug everything. We can't seem to play as a complete team. Either we're going to play well up front and then we're going to be very bad at the back, or we're going to play well at the back and be very bad up front or in midfield. And we just can't seem to get it together as a complete team. And I think we've got some real problems with the back four and the goalkeeper. And I mean, we've been saying this all along, whether we lose 1-0 or we lose 2-0 or today we let in 5 goals. Can you imagine if the score had been today 5-0 and we hadn't taken our chances and scored any, what we'd be saying then? We scored 4 goals, but let's not forget we leaked 5. You play like you did today against a strong Manchester City team because, to be honest, we played a weakened Everton team at the end. They didn't have James. Calvert-Lewin went off about half-time. And they didn't have their other players. They hardly had anyone on the bench. A strong Manchester City team would have destroyed us, maybe about 7, 8, 9-0. What's going to happen this weekend? I think Mourinho's personal record against Pep is absolutely excellent. But as I'm saying, we are now proving to Mourinho that every record he's ever set will be destroyed at Spurs. So I'll go with Jam, and I'm just hoping the rot won't be so bad where we get destroyed and humiliated and maybe come out with a draw at best, if not maybe a 3-0 loss.
Okay, thank you very much. Steve, takeaways and prediction?
Well, there's quite a few takeaways, isn't there, really?
Keep it short, though.
I will try to, yeah. I feel sorry for Toby. He may be, not quite the player he once was, but he's still the best defender we've got. And I look at him and put yourself in his position and think, who the hell do I pass to? I'm sat here. I've got the ball. I've got Doherty. I've got Sanchez. I've got Højbjerg, who's just walked all the way up to me within 3 feet. I feel sorry for him doing that. At least he's not the goalkeeper he once was. Having said all that, I thought there was some fight, and I'm happy it's 5-4 rather than 1-0, and we gave it a go. Against Man City, the Man City we'll be playing is a different Man City than the team we beat 2-0. Even without De Bruyne, who is probably the best striker and passer of the ball in the league, alongside Kane, actually, in terms of passing. But I would suspect if we can keep it to a 2-0 defeat, that'll be a positive for us.
Okay, good. So last but not least, my takeaways from this were, it doesn't matter what we do in midfield or up front. We can do good stuff there, like Cam said. But the defence need a complete overhaul. We need a new keeper, a new central defensive pairing, and we need new fullbacks. I mean, except for Reguilon, we need a new right back. Need complete overhaul in defence. It's so blatantly obvious to me the defence, as Cam said, we let in 5 goals, could have been 8 or 9. The defence really needs to be strengthened and overhauled, and I think hopefully he'll concentrate that in the summer. In terms of Man City, I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's either going to lose 6 or 7-0, or we might even get a draw, or as Jam says, we might even nick it. You never know. I doubt it very much. We played extra time as well. We're going to be really tired. So let's hope for that. I think I agree with you guys. A 2 or 3-0 loss is actually like a victory, really. It would help, I think. So that's the end of the podcast. Thanks for all our listeners and viewers for listening to the Spurs 9501 podcast. We appreciate it.
Can I just add one thing, Ray? And that is, so if we lose 2 or 3-0, can we celebrate?
Yeah.
I'll never
celebrate.
I don't know what type of Tottenham fan you are, but I'll never celebrate a loss.
We could do this podcast as if it was a victory. Oh, we only lost 3-0. Yeah.
Okay. So thanks to all our listeners, Spurs 9501 podcast. Thanks for all our listeners and our viewers on YouTube. Appreciate you listening to our post-match analysis of the 5-4 defeat to Everton in the FA Cup. And it's goodbye from Steve in London. Can you say something? Can you say goodbye, Steve?
No.
I can. Strangely enough, I do have that ability. Not many, but that
Can you
one.
say goodbye?
Everybody. Yeah.
And from Cam in Florida.
Come on, you Spurs. Goodbye, everyone.
And Jam in Connecticut.
Come on, Tottenham.
And this is Ray in London saying goodbye. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to you listening to the next episode. And hopefully, despite what Cam said, maybe a good result against Man City.
Hopefully.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on.